Welcome back to the Nullified Take, where we've got the TNT takes for you on the amazing race, Australia. There it is. Thank you, Tom. Welcome back, folks. This is the Nullified Take. We're doing everything for the amazing race, Australia Celebrity Edition. I'm really happy to be joined tonight by Vee. Welcome back, Vee. Thank you. And
Thanks
of course,
for having me again.
Tomac, my man. Welcome back to
Australian Survivor.
Survivor. You got
Oh
confused
my!
Crazy race.
I'm not
Wrong
gonna lie.
show, bruh.
I was just rewatching Edge of Extinction, American Survivor, like just before we started. So
that'll do it. That'll do it.
my brain's there at the
Edge
moment.
of Extinction 2. What a choice. You're rewatching Edge of Extinction. Okay.
Second half of the season's amazing, like television-wise.
Interesting timing. Like we just talked about this morning, me and Chris, even though this is the amazing race, Chris Underwood on the Challenge USA actually won. So he actually had Yeah, there you go. So anyway, we are talking about the amazing race. Michelle is not joining us tonight. She's got something very special on with Sydney Survivor, filming stuff for Sydney Survivor. So that's cool. We're going to pour a 40 out for Michelle tonight, but she'll be joining us again next week. But this week, we're talking about 2 episodes once again of the Amazing Race Australia Celebrity Edition, episodes 5 and 6, week 3. Started out with we want to say, hey, before we actually get started, a big shout out to Scott. Good morning, all, and good evening to those in Australia. So, man, good morning. I'm assuming States, US, which is like 5 a.m. or something ridiculous right now. So, good morning, Scott. I'm just assuming that because that's what, good morning would be, I think. But yeah, we started episode 5. We got 2 to get through. Episode 5 started out in Langkawi, Malaysia, after the virtual pit stop that we sort of ended on last week. I didn't think about it last week, ending on the virtual pit stop, but starting this week, coming off the back of a virtual pit stop, I felt that was really awkward timing. If they're going to keep racing and you're running 2 episodes back to back during a week, how about, just an idea, when they continue to race, make it the next night rather than a full week difference. And we're instead of a hard pit stop, which could have ended the week, they ended the week on a virtual pit stop to then just start racing again. So,
but they had an elimination, didn't they? That was when
they did have an elimination, but to kick off the episode, it started a bit.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And I had to put my head back into where we kind of were still going, you know what I mean? What did you think of that sort of setup? I feel like they could have just timed it differently and it would have felt a little bit more natural. Am I looking into it too much?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think about it too much at the time, but I think we got a great result in the end. Like everything that happened in that first episode was I thought really good. Also, I just want to comment on Jonathan Gray's message. With the Beck and Kate win, I don't know if that's trying to if that's offending me or if he's jumping on my train, on the Beck and Kate train. Either way, my girls, they did me
both
proud
ways
today.
Are correct, right?
Well, I hope he doesn't try to offend me, but no. Yeah. Team Beck and Kate all the way. I've just forgotten about Darren, as entertaining as he is, especially in that second episode. I want Beck and Kate to win. They're my team.
We're going to get into all the winners and losers and everyone in between. So Scott did confirm 5 a.m. in Chicago. Damn, Scott, you're committed. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning. I hope it is a good morning for you. Sunday morning, 5 a.m. Sunday morning. I was not awake at 5 a.m. this morning, that's for sure. We start off the episode, as I said, kind of coming out of that virtual pit stop. We get our first route info, depending how you want to pronounce it. Where the contestants basically had to, as Bo put it, catch some muddies, right? We're catching some mud crabs at a crab farm as their first challenge. Basically, they throw out a pot, wait long enough. I don't know what they actually did to influence the outcome. Darren and Tristan kind of said we left it in longer, 8 to 10 minutes, and that seemed to do the trick. They pulled it out straight away, whereas there was various levels of success throughout. What did you think of the mud crab challenge here, V?
Well, did they say they got taught how to do it? I think someone said there was a demonstration because they were really good at it if no one showed them how to do it.
I don't know. I didn't see a demo of it. Like, I thought they just
No,
sort of.
but I feel like someone said that they were shown how to do it. So otherwise, it's color me impressed.
Are we sure they were good at it? Because from Darren's narration, everyone was an idiot. That was gold. Just him standing there while Yana and Cora just like making all this commotion, and he's just like, "Oh my god!"
Well, I guess you toss it
Darren's
in
comments
and wait.
have been great.
Darren is a mate. Darren is me. If I was in the race, I would just be roasting everyone. Just yeah, very, very good television.
So, like I said, I didn't know what they were actually contributing to the outcome. Like they seem to throw the pot. As long as you get the bait in there, the crabs are gonna do what they do, right? I don't know what Darren or Yana and Core did so well that Pam and George didn't. Like, did Pam and George suck particularly bad at this? Like, I don't see how they did something they throw it in and it kind of happens, right? Like, is that what am I missing there that separate?
They were the only team we saw that lost
things.
crabs. Yeah, they were the only team that lost a crab as they were pulling it up, and then not to mention George threw the rope. I love how he said, "Oh, don't worry, Pam. I've done lots of throwing challenges in Survivor," and like you literally just got to go plonk. It's not like he has to go like aim for something or anything. He's literally plonk, and he drops the rope. Like, how is it even possible?
I felt like when they said there was they're going to be catching crabs, I was like, Harry and Teddy are thinking the wrong kind of crabs right now. I bet you. Like, that's what.
Yeah, we're going to the club. Oh, we should go with Core, eh? He's not old enough, is he? He's gonna get eliminated, hey.
So we saw again various levels of success. Darren, Tristan fast to complete it. Yana and Core were pretty good. At the opposite end, Beck and Kate struggled. Pam and George really struggled, falling to last place. And then after catching the crabs, they then had to go and sell the crabs, which sort of, I guess, tested their, brazen ability to approach strangers in public and beg for money, which is always an interesting thing. What's the approach that you would take here? Because Yana was like saying to Core, we need to go to the beach. Core was saying we need to go to a restaurant, assuming that they're going to put on the menu. I don't know. But what do you think is the strategy here? Is it just a blanket approach, as many people as possible, beg as nice as you can? There was flirting, there was crying, there was all sorts of things in between. What's the meta strategy to sell crabs to strangers, Tom?
You find someone who has a great sense of humor, and you go, "Excuse me, sir or madam, I would love to give you my crabs." And then you just see how they take that, and they're like, they have a laugh. It's like, "Oh yeah, no, I've got these crabs for the amazing race. Would you please take my crabs?" And you just sort of approach them lightly, not like, "Oh, what's the fate? Oh, flipping Jackie." If someone came up to me on the beach on my holiday and was like, "Oh, buy some crab. Oh, please. Oh, you're breaking my heart," and all that. "Oh, this person doesn't want to buy my crabs. It's a stupid person." Like, I'd let her have it. I'd just be like, I'd just roast her on the spot, dead set.
If you came up in with the very nice approach, I'd certainly be entertaining the idea. And then you say it's 100 ringgit or 33 Australian dollars or 32 Australian dollars, I think. I'll be like, that's cool, buddy. Kiko, I don't need your weirdo mud crabs. $30. Like, that's hard sell to strangers. I was like, oh yeah, if it's they're going up to strangers who weren't interested in crabs. They're literally just helping people asking for money and on a TV show, right? They're just doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They're not actually purchasing crabs to consume or do whatever with. So they're just helping.
Well, see, that would be my strategy. I'd be like, for $30, do you want to be on TV on The Amazing Race? For $30, you just have to take the crabs. I'd find a tourist and say, I have a film crew.
There you go.
Do you want to be on TV for a sec?
Oh, actually, genius genius idea. Find someone who looks like a hippie or a vegan. It's like, would you like to pay $30 to release these crabs? Otherwise, they're going to get eaten by someone.
Yes.
To rescue, to save,
Yeah.
to
There we go.
emancipate.
Yeah.
Um,
Emancipate
we
these crabs.
want to send a big shout out to Ellen. Hey guys, another great week of episodes. To be honest, I'm so not used to only having 12 teams. Yeah, eps in a season. After the last two with 24 episodes, it feels like this season's flying by. I was actually saying that because before we actually went on air, like that, even at 12 episodes, 12 teams, that means only 6 weeks because we're getting double episodes. So it's a very, very quick season. Ellen also said that she doesn't think she'd have the patience for catching crabs.
No. I'm with
No,
Ellen.
is that the issue? That's the issue, isn't it? Just the patience to wait for them. Are you
Yes,
pulling
think
it
that
up
was the
every 30
trick.
seconds, checking too quickly, not letting enough time
Yeah.
for them to sort of happen? Hmm.
I think that was the trick, to have patience.
And that's exactly right. That's why I said before, Ellen saying, not Beck and Kate asking some tourists. If I was a tourist, I'd be like, what do you want me to do with the crab? And that's why I think Pam even said, like when they were selling it to a couple of Aussies, George and Pam, who definitely Aussies wanting to help, had no idea George was George though, right? Like there was no like, even though they're
Yeah.
Australian, George didn't like register at all. So Pam was saying, like, when you buy them, they're like, what are we supposed to do with them? She's like, anything you want, throw them away. I don't care. Put them in the ocean. Like, but I just need the money. Like, shut up. Give me now. So that was good. Here you go. Jonathan Gray said they used to not be allowed to say that specifically, that they were on the Amazing Race. Ellen
It's pretty obvious
confirming
though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, if you know what it is. That's why
Yeah.
you always heard them say, we're in a race, not the Amazing Race.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they've said that. It said it this season. I'm sure they've said it.
I feel like that. They're also like, although no one in India or Malaysia knows who they are, except for the drunken Aussies in the street who are like,
Yeah.
the Amazing Race.
That was
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always fun. So after they're trying to sell them, there's different approaches. Tom gave his, V gave hers, as saying, hey, fame, TV cameras, all that might be against the rules. Oh, there you go. Jonathan, our statsman, again confirming.
Yeah.
Thank you, our fact checker. They did say it. Darren mentioned specifically that was on the Amazing Race. Emma and Haley use their musical skills to sell crabs. Again, any challenge, they'll sing it, they'll dance, they'll do it. It makes everything work for them. She's made millions of dollars off of it. Why not use it in the Amazing Race as well? But yeah, Ben and Jackie's approach. I know you're a fan, Tom. That worked for you. I'm sure you would have been giving them not just 100 ringgits, 1,000 ringgits for that type of approach. Yeah.
If they were like, if Jackie was talking to me like that, I would actually like really act interested for a while and like be a hard sell and just waste their time, because I'm like, it's like, screw you. Like, I'm not what I don't know if I'm watching this season or not, but I want you to lose this leg. Foreshadowing for the future.
You
but
hold
yeah.
on to her.
Yeah,
Like,
just like
that's how bad I want you to lose because of that pitch that you just did.
I don't like you at all. I mean, she was probably like my least favorite character out of the entire, like, yeah, Jackie was my least favorite person from looking at all the teams now, 100% by a landslide.
100%.
Couldn't stand her.
I kind of liked Ben.
Oh, I liked Ben, but
the
Jackie,
overall couple, because we know the results. So we'll talk about at the end. But yeah, after they sort of catch the crabs, then they sell the crabs, then they land themselves on a beach here, and Darren and Tristan, the first to arrive, very disappointed at what is essentially the next pit stop, right? Like for the leg of, like, again, they went to a virtual pit stop, didn't end. You're still racing, did one crab thing, and then they get to spend the night in the tents. Like, do you think? Like, I felt weird with the timing of this. Like, it felt like if you're gonna keep running, like on the American one, I think I'm right in saying this, Tom. When they do the virtual pit stop, it's a full on leg, and it makes it a little bit more hellish and a little bit more endurance wise. It's harder on them because you're just piling it back to back. But they got this long rest on the beach in shitty tents, but still a rest on a beautiful beach, right?
Yeah, I think from an entertainment perspective, it was great because like seeing them camp was awesome. But from like that leg of the race, from like a gameplay perspective, was pretty stupid because in reality there was only one challenge that dictated the race because everyone obviously made it to camping in time and they all had their rest, and then there was that one challenge they did afterwards, and then there was the pit stop. So it's like that's a bit, if you're not good at that challenge, then you're kind of in trouble. But you know, I think they were just looking at it purely from a TV entertainment perspective because I didn't think celebrities would complain that much about living in tents. I thought for sure maybe some of them were hamming it up, but my dad made a great suggestion for Darren and Tristan. He said he would have undone all the tents except for theirs and be like, oh yeah, nah, you gotta set it up when you get here, to just make everyone suffer like that. That would have been genius.
Yeah, because they were like freaking out. We got to cook food. Like what? Imagine if you told them they had to actually put a tent up. They've walked off the race.
That would have been amazing.
Jonathan has a theory on this section of the race. It was a virtual pit stop because there are no hotels nearby, so they had to actually get them to a temporary thing. Tom mentioned that the pseudo overnight, or it's not pseudo overnight, the pseudo pit stop there where they actually got to stay somewhere and rest and finish the leg of the race, was good TV. What did you think of having, because I thought it was really nice. It was beautiful to see, really pretty. We got to know our celebrities because one of the side effects of the Amazing Race is a lot of the times when they're just racing, and in an hour episode, you don't get to know the contestants all that well, but we got to see them interacting and we got to see why they are celebrities. They're great on camera. They know what they're doing. They're friendly and they're charismatic. What do you think of this section of the race here?
Yeah, I loved it. And I think there could be a little bit more of that because one of the only things that attracted me on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here was that you got to see some of these interesting people be themselves. And regardless of whether they're super famous or not, I think everyone can agree that these people have done some interesting things in their life that are interesting to hear about. So I love opportunities to hear some of these celebrities, talk about their lives just from being interesting people. So I think there could be more of that, but the episode's already an hour long, so don't know where you'd fit it in.
Well, having said that, I thought this section was super long as well. Like, for a camping, they spent a lot of time. It was good 15-minute segment, like maybe more. I don't know how long it was, but it felt like ages at this camp. So they came off just the crabbing, like Tom said, like basically one challenge, then this long camp scene which dominated this first episode. Felt again a little bit funny as far as timing to me goes, but we leave the next day and head off to a detour. I just want to quickly point out Logan's travel. Logan, thank you, sir, for joining us tonight. He said, I log into YouTube at 3 a.m. during my teaching break and see that there is a live recap for an episode of the Amazing Race franchise. I'm not even currently watching at the moment. What a time. What a time to be alive, right? That this is actually a thing. It's funny that
a teaching break at 3 a.m. Is he a teacher? Like what schools open at 3 a.m.? I'm curious. I want to know more.
Night school.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm assuming it's probably virtual overseas or something, right? He's teaching something like that. That's where I went. But in the race, we head to our detour. After the beautiful camp scene, we get detour of Piles of Tiles, which is a Mahjong, yeah. Mahjong themed puzzle, where you basically have to find a complete Mahjong set within a bucket of, 1 billion tiles. And then there's Burn Your Boat, making 5 origami boats that are very intricate. I think some of them said it looked like it was upwards of 30 steps or something. In this one, Core and Yana really excelled, coming out of the puzzle very quickly. I think it was out of the Mahjong. I think Was it Yana saying that she plays it on her phone or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do either of you have experience with either Mahjong or origami?
Nope.
I'd be
So what do
better at
you pick then?
origami than Mahjong.
What do you pick? Do you think the origami was the right choice?
I would have picked, and I would have regretted it. I would have picked Mahjong, but as I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, actually, no. I would have preferred origami because I just would have wrote it down. Like, I would have used like the notebooks they have and wrote down each step, and then I like what one of the teams was doing. They were making each and every boat at the same time. Like they were doing the same step for each boat. I think it was Ali and Angie or something.
Yeah.
I would have done that, but in the moment, I would have gone, "Oh, Mahjong, yeah, because I play Sudoku, you know, I'm good at these obscure games from different countries. I can give it a whirl." No, I would have failed at that though.
So a lot of people did
Yeah.
struggle with the Mahjong. Like, even though Yana and Core got it relatively quickly, Jackie and Ben obviously struggled incredibly. Darren and Tristan struggled with it. Like, I remember he said, no matter how big a lead you have, you get a couple of Chinese tiles and it can all go away. And I felt like he said Chinese funny, like he hit it really hard when he said you get a couple of Chinese tiles and it can all go away. I was like, oh.
Chinese stuff.
Oh, I thought you were saying like he pronounced Chinese in a weird way or something. So he was saying like Mahjong.
It felt a bit pointed, like very specifically Chinese tiles. He didn't say you get a couple of tiles or you get a couple of Mahjong tiles. He said get a couple of Chinese tiles and it all goes away. I was like, oh, Darren, careful, mate.
Darren makes up for it in the next episode. It's all good.
I'm kidding. I would never want to imply that he's racist at all. I was just sort of joking around with that. But, you know, they're actually smart. Darren, I don't know if this was allowed, if this is illegal, whatever. Maybe Jonathan can tell us. But here, Darren Tristan actually approached strangers on the street, says, do you know how to play Mahjong? Can you help us? And actually had someone help here. Is this a smart way to play? Is this like cheating? Like, what do you think of getting outside interference, Tom?
Well, I'm surprised. Like, it obviously happened, and like they're all standing next to each other. So I can't believe the other two teams didn't do it after them. Like, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Like, just to see, oh, this person basically did it for that team, and now they're going to the pit stop and they're going to beat us. Let's keep giving it a whirl. Well, what we're doing right now is clearly working for us. Like, maybe Jackie can channel that psychic energy and be like, "Oh yes, these are the right pieces." Bing! Oh, that didn't work.
Well, how else are you supposed to know? How else are you supposed to know? Because I mean, with a lot of the challenges, you can sort of use. But how are you on earth are you supposed to know what to do if you don't know Mahjong? Like, I was watching them going, is it just putting things down and seeing what happens? Because that seemed to be the strategy for some of the teams.
It's basically pairs, right? So you look through the symbols and see this, we've got pairs of this, pairs of this, pairs of this, and you basically have to find a pair for every symbol you find until you go, okay, we've got, so it's what did they say it was? I think it's 67 pairs of tiles, 144 in a set, 67 pairs. So as long as they found,
but did they need to be arranged in certain ways?
No, I don't think so. It was just finding the right.
So it's just finding pairs. Oh well, I could have done that.
Yeah,
it's just long. I think it's again like a lot of the times in the Amazing Race, it comes down to a choice that you're making, like, you know, whether it's going to be long and, you know, easy or short and difficult. Like is always the thing. When you said you can't believe they didn't ask the lady as well. I literally wrote in my notes why the others saw them do that and didn't instantly crash tackle the same lady is beyond me. Like, like they see him run off, open their clue,
just like grab the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even just like tell them, like what you said before. Yeah, you just got to find doubles of 67 tiles. That's all you got to do. Like,
yeah, but I think the trick is they don't know it's 67.
Oh, right? Yeah, but the lady would have known. The lady who helped Darren.
The lady definitely would have known. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So like you don't even need her to help you. You just need her to tell you that, and then like it's an easy challenge.
Yeah.
And say you're on the right track. Yep. Keep going. Yeah.
Jonathan confirmed that if it was cheating, the other teams would have spoken up. The write-ups are pretty long for it. And he said it's 4 tiles to a set. So I said pairs. So it's 2 sets of pairs. It's 4 tiles to a set. But there were a lot of fake sets apparently.
Right. Okay.
Oh, so like there may have been a full 4 tile set that looks like it's legit. It's just not part of a Mahjong set. That's hard then.
Oh God.
I don't know if it would have been that difficult because they can't read Chinese, right? Like that's hard. So is that what you're saying, Jonathan? Sorry, mate. I'm not, because that seems incredibly, and it seems difficult. I think Ben and Jackie went 15 times or something like that, like on their 15th attempt or something ridiculous. So it's
hard to get a sense of how long they were standing there. Was it minutes or hours? You know, that's what I'm curious about. Did they? I don't think they said they had a ticker that said how long they're actually, just how many attempts they did.
Yeah, just how many attempts. How long is an attempt? Do you move one tile and then check? Is that an attempt? Like
it looked like hours. It may have only been like 20 minutes.
Yeah. But on the origami side, again, there were different approaches. As you said, Tom, like someone sort of said they broke it down into steps. I think Ali and Angie said we did 3 or 5 steps at a time, and they used sort of shapes and that sort of thing that they thought like they could remember, which was pretty interesting, and it worked well for them. Here we go. Fake tiles, not fake. There, okay. Like a different color brush stroke, and
so they'd have to swap them out, and
no. So like if you've found 3 of a set that are the same, there's a 4th one that looks similar, but maybe the petals are slightly different or the color of the thing. So when you're putting your sets of 4 together, there's some red herrings in the mix in the bucket.
Right. Need a magnifying glass.
Ali and Angie do the breakdown. They do 5 steps. That works for them. Beck and Kate do 1 step at a no. Was it them? I think they did 2 or 3, but one team said we just did 1 step at a time. We went up, did it, came back, learned another one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever works for you, because you got to get through it. Like if you figure out what works for you, and you can't do 5 steps in a row or 3 steps in a row, and you can do 1 step in a row, then you do 1 step in a row, right? Ali and Angie finish first in the origami, puts them ahead, and actually at the end of this race, they're told again. This was a weird leg for me, because the crab thing, then a big long rest, then they did the origami and the mahjong, then had to get a dumpling. Like that was a challenge. Like they just had to buy a dumpling off the dude in the street. Like I don't know, that was funny. And then that's it. That was it to the pit stop. So they did the crab, have a good long overnight rest. They did the mahjong, origami, get some food, and that brings us to the end of the race. Ali and Angie actually land on the mat first. They get the luxury hotel upgrade. George and Pam did really well on the origami. They climaxed to 4th place. But after seeing Emma and Haley race Jackie and Ben to the end, Ben and Jackie were the last ones to arrive on the mat. They were eliminated from the race. Tom, how you feeling about losing Jackie?
I still need Yana and Cora out dead set, honestly. It's making me look bad. Where's that nightclub when you need it? But other than that, like at the start of the set, like looking at everyone, like, just because obviously I was judging everyone by their looks and nothing else, which is a great lesson in life, kids. We should all do that. Like Ali and Angie, I didn't like the vibe of them, but I love them. I love. wait. Yeah, Angie's the mom. Like poor Ali. Like just like Angie's talking about like this is like in the next episode, this is the worst, that I've ever tasted and all that. like she just has no. She'll say whatever she wants, and I find that so funny. Obviously, Beck and Kate are my queens. Darren and Darren's hilarious, and I like how Tristan like is straight man. Emma and Haley, I'm like, I don't really mind them. And Harry and Teddy, I love they're just like nothing up here, but like they're still getting it done, kind of thing, So, I like every team, or at least feel neutral about every team that's left. So, thank goodness, I'm very happy.
Ben and Jackie saying goodbye to us after this episode, eliminated from the race. How did you feel about Ben and Jackie on the Amazing Race?
Well, I thought they were terrific, but I'm pretty easy to please. I was just excited that Emma Wiggle didn't go home, so I was.
That was the important thing.
The right.
You don't feel the
The
same way
right
about the
team
drummer from
rounded that
Silverchair?
Well, I adore Silverchair, and I adore him as a drummer. But look, they were fabulous. They were great, you know. And but if we were going to lose anyone, we weren't going to be losing Emma Wiggle on my watch. So I was happy with the outcome.
Sorry, Tom. Please.
I was just gonna say, well, it's a good thing, V, that you saved them. It was 100% you, and
it was me and my vibes.
Yeah,
spoken into the universe from months
ago.
I think your psychic energy is stronger than Jackie's. I think that's what happens.
There it is. Jackie's a fraud.
It works apparently. For me. Wasn't even my birthday.
Wow.
we doubted Ben and Jackie. We didn't think they'd do too great, and I mean, in the end, they didn't. They finished 8th, but I think they actually their average placement was about 5, so they were like middle of the pack, but ended up getting eliminated worse than what their record would suggest up to this point. So it was one of those ones that they ended up falling quite badly in the one where they got eliminated. Ben grew on me as the season went on. Like at the start, I was like, this budget Wish version of Dave Grohl. I said on the podcast itself, but I kind of dig his chill, like hippie vibe now. He's a good balance to the frantic energy that is Jackie. And, you know, the whole yin and yang thing seems to work really great for them. But that does bring us to the end of episode 5. We go to episode 6. But before I do that, I do want to send a shout out to Labai. Said that both the Amazing Race US and AU had problems with tiles this week. See, I'm not currently watching the US version. And that's because I need to keep the Amazing Races separate in my head, especially when they're using tile problems at the same time. So that's interesting to hear that actually timed out that way. But welcome to the stream, Levi. I'm glad you could join us. And also Steve Smith. Steven Smith said maybe the edit made it look like Darren's team was there at the same time as the other teams.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan said this episode basically confirmed for me that they can't change detours. Interesting. Yeah. So because on Mahjong, if you're on Mahjong, you would change to origami is what you're saying.
Are you sure it's not a case of just in this particular episode there was literally only a detour? Like that was the only challenge that actually mattered. So like it's kind of hard to risk changing detours when there's only one challenge. Like if there's 3 challenges, like you can risk it, but in this one you can't really.
But did they know what is coming up in the leg? How many detours there's going to be and all that sort of thing?
I think they knew that. Like they should have known that. Like the leg was almost up, considering they did all the camping and the mud crabs and how much time that would take in an episode to put in.
That's true. Interesting. Because that is a staple of the show. Like you can change detours normally, sometimes to your detriment. If you've just put 45 minutes into this one, it's always a strategy decision whether they abandon what they're doing currently, eat the time that they've sacrificed to go to another detour. And sometimes even the travel from one to the next can prove a difference maker as well. So they have to kind of do the calculus in their head. Do we stick with this even though we're sucking right now? Or do we abandon ship and try the other one, which could be better, could be worse, who knows? But Jonathan's saying if they didn't leave that Mahjong, then it seemed pretty obvious that they didn't have the opportunity there. But that's a good point as well, Tom. If there isn't a long enough window to make up any lost time, then you can't really abandon, especially when there's people next to you and you're still in it with them, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone's standing there with you, then all is not lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still got a shot just as they do.
Yeah.
So,
I really
yep.
I really hope that it isn't a case of they can't change detours, because I mean, Amazing Race, like in comparison to Survivor, for example, isn't, like, in my opinion, a super strategic game. And like detours and like how you approach them is like one of the few strategic elements of the game, I think. So yeah, it'd be a shame if like it was just, oh yeah, you're stuck doing that one. That'd be less entertaining, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Chris said, hi team. I still haven't been able to watch the season, but I want to pop in and say you're doing a great job. Thanks, boss. We got a pat on the head from Chris himself, the pod father. Thank you. There you go. Yeah, Jonathan confirmed Ben and Jackie's average placement 5.6 to go out 8th when they've sort of averaged a bit better than that. Also pointing out that Ben and Jackie are high school sweethearts, which is always beautiful. There you go. Ellen said there were tags in the detour clue box where they had to pull it off, 3 on each detour option. Oh, so there were limited detours, which is why they couldn't swap, perhaps.
Right.
Oh, here we go. So the discussions, and there's the correction. There's the resolution. See that? That's a full storyline right there in our chat. I like that. Question pondered. Is it? Ah, yep. There we go. Okay. Look at our group coming together and working things out. I love it. Well done. We go to episode 6. The remaining celebrity teams have arrived in Penang, specifically Georgetown, which King George said is a great town. Funnily enough, he said this place is amazing. Named George. They're racing straight out of the gates with a clue that's actually shoved under the hotel door, so there's no meetings. They're racing immediately in the morning. George even complaining to Darren about ruining his elevator shot. He's like, you're getting in my shot.
I love that. Oh,
yeah. There's a little bit of tension with George and Darren that comes up in the episode, and then George and other people in the episode. And you were saying, yeah, not everybody. You were saying, Tom, that Jackie was probably your least liked person on this, and I've liked everyone. And unfortunately, I think George is coming off the most unlikable out of the series. When I love George, like I'm a big fan, but The Amazing Race is bringing something out of him. He's real. Like maybe the tension causing George, it's not the right environment for the way he approaches that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like I'd say George is definitely the most unlikable in terms of like his actions, but obviously like it's very entertaining and stuff. So I'm not saying like I think Jackie is like an unlikable person or anything. I'm saying I didn't vibe with her in any way, shape, or form. But no, I thought George was like absolutely horrible in this episode in the best way. Like he was everything he was doing was, and oh my gosh, once again he managed to not do any work. I love when Teddy comments on him like sweeping during the challenge. It's like, bro, like, and then it's like, bro's trying to go to Hogwarts or something. I'm like, oh, Teddy, like he probably thinks these things in his head are like genius, and they just come up with the most simple-minded comments in history. It's like, he's got a broom. Like, how smart's that? Hey, oh, my mom would be so proud, eh?
Broom, Harry Potter, and that's as far as it goes. That's that's the extent of it. But he did actually, yeah, we did that in our detour. Once they left the hotels, they took a rickshaw to Central Fire Station, and the detour was treats or eats. Our team had to choose between replicating a dessert at a Michelin recommended restaurant, or attempting a local delicacy without knowing what its ingredients are. Eats, I'm sure Michelle would know this for sure if she was here tonight. Pour a 40 out, bless Michelle. She would definitely say, because I know she puts it on her Facebook group, that if you're on The Amazing Race and if you've ever seen The Amazing Race, if there's a challenge to eat something you don't know, then you never do it, because it is going to be a horrid experience. Ali and Angie, Darren, Tristan, Beck and Kate, and Yana and Cole all choose the eating challenge, which involved consuming a very large bull tongue and then just a giant bull wang. Just eating dick is like a thing of the show. Like they even said it. It gave us some great lines. Like I heard, I think Beck said to Kate, "Eat a dick." Like literally said, "Eat a dick," which was funny because in my head I was like, it's a bowl of dicks." And then she just turned to her and said, "Eat a dick," which is great. I also heard at one point someone said, Darren said, they have some great wang in Penang, which I thought was good. I mean,
Darren was on fire.
Once they were in this mode, my head was in this mode, and even stuff that I heard that I hope they weren't doing it intentionally, I heard in a certain way, because someone said, "Don't look at it, just eat it." And then someone said, "You just got it, Mum. Throw it in and swallow." And then the perfect line was Ali to Angie, just looked at her and said, "Sorry, Mum." And I had a good time. I didn't think I'd have such a good time hearing people talk about eating penis so much on TV.
My favorite line was when Yana was like, could you eat that penis or something, like, to her 16
Yeah, can you eat the penis? Can you eat the penis?
He's gonna get bullied at school for that. Oh my gosh. Like this.
I tell you what, I was so thankful that Emma Wiggle didn't choose that challenge. That would have been truly traumatizing for me to see Emma Wiggle. It'd be like watching Father Christmas eat a dick. You know, it'd just be traumatizing for the rest of my life.
That'd be pretty funny, I think. I was having the best time with that challenge. I wish they all went to that one, honestly. And I'm excited for the next time, that having to do another eating challenge next week. Both me and my dad, we love eating challenges more than anything else. Like, to watch, obviously not to do.
What I was gonna say, you eat a lot of bull penis before it's on.
When they said those,
smash this challenge, I love it. Me and my dad eat dick all the time
together. No,
but you can't vomit, can you, Tomac? You don't vomit.
I can't vomit, and even seeing them all. Yeah, but I think what would happen is I just wouldn't be able to continue eating. I'd just be full, and there'd be nothing. But when I heard there was hair on it, I'm like, nup. That's nup.
Well, we saw the Olympian come out in Yana. She was just like,
and then
that was the true Olympic spirit.
They were vomiting on each other's head. I'm like, oh my gosh! And
then vomit on Yana's head.
And then Tristan was like, it's kind of enjoyable in a sadistic way. And then Darren's just like, the faces he was pulling. It was a pure work of art. Like this show needs to be like nominated for a Logie off that segment alone.
Yes.
Ellen called out the same line from Darren. They've got some great Wang in Penang. You love that one. Jonathan said that this one was limited like episode 1 or episode 5, where they basically had no choice because there's only a certain number of teams that can do one challenge before the other.
Oh, I'm sure they were gutted.
Levi said the penis of a bull. Yeah, they repeated that like when I don't remember which team it was, but they were like, "What is it?" Like, penis of a bull. Like, what? Penis of a bull, and like had to say it like 3 times just so they really got the picture that they were eating a big penis. It was so funny. Oh, there's a line from Angie.
Yeah. Yes, that's
that
right.
made Ali the worst dick I've tasted.
I thought she said it was the worst. Oh no, that's even better.
Oh, either way,
not the worst dick I've tasted. Is so good.
Nah,
I'm very curious to know. I'm curious to know if it tasted bad or if it was just the mindset that it was a bull's penis, or if they didn't know what it was, if it would just be like awful, generic awful taste.
I reckon texture's got to be weird too, though.
Yeah.
Like it's a bitey bite, you know what I mean? Like it takes jaw.
They didn't seem to go down easy.
Someone just shuddered.
Oh. Well,
yeah, Jonathan. Look, I don't know how you mean, sir, but Chewy's the.
Yikes!
Yeah,
Ellen said she was trying to eat dinner while watching it. Not a great experience.
Same here.
And seemingly at the opposite end of the spectrum, we go from one side where they're eating a bowl, like the soup as well that it was sitting in. No idea what that was. It looked like the special effects department of The Exorcist. Just it was such a weird looking dish that they then piled the chopped up dick into, which is always just a fascinating thing to see. But then at seemingly the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we get to the treats side where they see some delicious food actually, and have to replicate a very intricate sort of pattern of cut up gelatinous type dessert dishes. Have any of you tried? Like, I didn't even hear what it was called, but I'm half Filipino. Growing up, there was many dishes that look like this. Everything on that they ate, I was like, I don't know that dish, but I know that dish. You know what I mean? I know an approximation of what it would taste like, the textures. I've had very similar a lot growing up. What did you think of the treats that were on offer, Tom?
No, I didn't like to look at them at all. Especially like they said they were cakes. I'm like, they don't look like cakes. And like, my dad pointed out once again, like cutting it all up, and then like the amount of handwork that was in preparing that dish. Like, here, have this. I have my hands all over it, and like no gloves or anything. It's just like they were in there. It was
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have enjoyed any of the food in this week's episode. This episode at all. No. I'd prefer the tarantula in the next episode than any of that.
What do you think of the treats there, V?
We're making fruit baskets again. What is with this show and displaying fruit? It's not as interesting as they think.
Attention to detail. Well, that's why we've got George sweeping up and just hanging out, looking over Teddy's shoulder and stuff.
Like, God, I think they dodged a massive bullet. Maybe that's just because I could not complete an eating challenge.
I mean,
that
they dodged a massive something, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
The tongue was big too.
The tongue was very
big. Yeah.
But
Good
yeah,
Lord.
that's the Amazing Race. You get like two ends of the spectrum there. After they get to eat. After they either make a decorative plate of delicious desserts or eat giant dicks, we get a roadblock. So the teams visited Mr. Wong's shoe store, which apparently we heard about 1 billion times in the episode, which is where Jimmy Choo started his career. Tom, you a fan of Jimmy Choo?
I honestly had no idea. I thought it was honestly like I was like, is this like a racist joke or something? Are they just like finding like generic names or something? I had no idea what was going on. And then I was like, and then my mom was like, oh no, Jimmy Choo's like a. I was like, oh okay, I'm just gonna be quiet now. Bye. I was like,
do you have any Jimmy Choos?
Oh no, I'm more of a sneaker gal than a high heel gal. But it was interesting the first time it was mentioned. I was like, oh, that's fascinating. Actually, if I was there, I'd like to visit. That'd be great. And then it was hammered home about the designer shoe. And it's like, yeah, you said Jimmy. Yeah, you said Jimmy Choo. Yeah, I heard you the first time.
All I know of Jimmy Choo is that it gets mentioned a lot in Sex and the City, I think, back in the day. And I remember back then when it was at its height of popularity, I've got a friend whose last name is Chu, but it's spelt CHU instead of CHOO. And apparently he told me that he would successfully use his last name to score with the ladies based on his uncle Jimmy Chu, even though completely spelled different names and everything, saying that Jimmy Choo is his uncle because his last name is also Choo. Shout out to my man. I'm not going to say his name because that's a horrible thing that he used to do. I'm not putting that on the internet, but he's grown past that and he's a happily married man with kids now. So, but that was his thing apparently. But we do go to a. Oh, here we go. Labai actually is Malaysian. Malaysian here. The white part of the cake is sticky rice, with the colored part is custard. There you go.
Yum.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, there you go. Tom's back in. Ellen said, yeah, once again, Emma and Haley smashing another challenge. They did well once again.
They're gonna break soon.
And there you go. Fact checker once again. It was Jimmy Choo's teacher's son. So that link is getting even more tenuous. But yeah, Jimmy Choo learned to make shoes there. They then had to make their own shoes. I mean, again, it's one of those tasks which comes down to attention to detail, not necessarily the prettiest shoe, but do you have all the right components in the right sort of dimensions in the right way, or is it laid out the right way? Here we go. So this roadblock actually is. I brought this up the wrong time because we're literally discussing it, but it doesn't matter. I'd like to congratulate Yana and Tristan on completing their first aired roadblock. Jonathan Gray. So there was a roadblock that we missed. I think you said that last week. I forgot that didn't make the air. So this one was aired. But during the roadblock, we see Yana and Beck pretty successful. Harry had to retry a bunch of times. George tried to strategize with Darren at this point. I said before, George is causing a little bit of tension. Who had to remind him very, very pointedly, in case he forgot. I'm not sure, but Darren basically said to him, "We're not on Survivor, mate." Do you think George forgot he was on Survivor for a second time?
I just love how George was like, "Have you ever watched Survivor?" I was like, "No, I haven't." And it's like, "Oh, you should,
You
yeah,
should.
yeah."
It's
Just like
great show.
what,
Really
like what
good.
is this? Yeah, like this strategy, but like, yeah. Could you imagine? I reckon Darren would like just watch like George's seasons just like to laugh at him, like with a big glass of wine, you know, just like just like at George the entire time. It's like, oh, he lost both times. What a loser. I feel like Darren would do that.
Yeah, Darren would. I picked up like I thought it was genuine. You know what I mean? There's dislike there. Like it was coming off a little bit too. You know what I mean? Like the jokes were
Yeah.
not as jokey.
I feel bad because I have a feeling that like nobody really liked George on the season. Like he didn't have any like close friends other than Pam. But
Pam
even then,
doesn't.
like yeah, poor Pam, honestly. But yeah, I think like because Darren was saying it in the last episode, like, oh, we had to wait at the airport for like 7 hours, and we just had to listen to stories of George on Survivor, and like it's just non-stop like mentioning George and Survivor. So I reckon they don't like each other, or it's like it's a big joke.
Just to Darren or to everyone.
Yeah, like I mean, I think everyone views like George as a bit of a joke. Like, let's be real. Like he's just an enigma.
This is Ellen. I think has captured it. What Darren was giving. Darren's probably thinking, "We get it. You did Survivor, mate. Move on." Yes, okay. And said, to be fair, he's probably mentioned Survivor 60 billion times by now. There you go. And Jonathan, bringing it back to the race, of course, is Darren, Tristan, and Harry and Teddy would definitely U-turn George. Darren, Harry, Teddy, Braun Tribe. George has a type. He's going after Simon with these guys. That's funny. That's great, Jonathan. At the same time, V, as immediately going after Darren and Tristan worked so well for them because they were still stuck making shoes while Darren and Tristan left. He decides to turn his attention towards Teddy, who's making shoes as well. I don't know if like Survivor strategy applies particularly well to the Amazing Race. A lot of times it just comes down to how well you can do it. But he's throwing it out there. Whatever will stick. What do you think of his approach here to distract, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he was hoping. I did like how Pam sort of undercut them and ran in before them. I thought that was genius. But yeah, look, I think George has a shtick. I think that he's got to play up to, and I thought he was fabulous. I just thought he was fabulous with the Survivor shtick. It was like, oh, he was everyone's little brother, I think. Sort of dancing around going, Mum said I'm the best.
I did love, I'm sure, Tom, you know, the way you see Teddy's brilliant, witty retorts and comebacks that he just off the cuff. I don't know, like, does he have a writer? I'm not sure, but he's coming up with them that you love. And when George was saying it, do you remember what he said to them here? He goes, "At least we're not as bad as you guys."
Oh yeah. No. I don't know. I was thinking more when Pam jumped ahead, and it's like, oh, like they're just like rats. Like they scurry ahead of you. It's like, and like Harry and Teddy were walking so slow. Like they were just like, ugh. And so like yeah, I didn't get that, but no, I love how they were like Harry and Teddy kept on going like, oh, you know, like everyone was saying, you know, you're doing poorly when you see George and Pam at a challenge.
That's such a good line, isn't it? Like the fact that, oh, what the hell are you doing here? What? Like you're up here with us? What's going on?
It's honestly
like genuinely shocked.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible how much Pam carried that team. Like, mad shout out to Pam, but yeah.
She really did. Well, according to Steve Smith, someone needs to count how many times George says his sister's name, Pam, in the series. Pam, 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 Pammy, Pam, 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 Pam. Shut up, George. We know her name. That's right, Steve. Thank you for that. That's a great comment. Comment of the night so far. But the next things are route info. They're heading to a temple where teams had to find basically a unique lantern in a sea of thousands of, using basically the skills of observation and power, because on each of these hanging lanterns is a little tag with one of them out of thousands having an English word on it. Does everyone remember what the word was? Because I will never forget it.
Dragon.
It was
Dragon. I loved it. It was so cheesy and funny. It was great.
Yeah, I
But,
want to say it so many times, eh? Like every time they said it on screen, which was about as many times as George said Pam, they also said. I was sitting in my lounge room. Going, like every time. It's fun.
Oh, it was iconic, and like I thought it was a good challenge. And once again, shout out to my girls Beck and Kate, realizing that the two top teams had just come from upstairs and then left. But also I feel like if I was at that challenge, I'm like, there's no way it's on the bottom floor. Like it is definitely on that top floor.
Yeah.
So I would have gone straight up there. I think what would have made it a better challenge if there was 3 words and there was like 2 downstairs in different areas and then 1 upstairs. I think that would have made it a better challenge. Yeah.
But then they
Because
couldn't
otherwise,
or they add to it. They're like
turtle, weasel,
Ball penis.
There's someone in the audience that just has an ASMR thing and is like enjoying this a little bit too much.
It's
and
like
for that person, I'm gonna say
it's the itch.
So stupid.
I think the other phrase that was heard coming out of this challenge that I will almost remember as much as Dragon is this one that Jonathan pointed out. There's a second floor, which is so good because you're right. Beck and Kate, I thought was very clever to see and deduce they've come from downstairs, they're out the way, then it must be upstairs. Whereas George and Pam, who he pointed out in this episode in very clear words to say that I'm the greatest strategic player in worldwide Survivor history, or something like that, something to those terms. And then it's like, there's a second floor. So what do you think? Missing the second floor here, V. Tom says to him it's automatic that it wouldn't be on the ground floor because it's obvious. Are you getting trapped? Are you getting befuddled? Are you getting done over by a second floor?
But then you think, oh, well, then that's obvious. They'd go the second floor, so it must be on the first floor. Then maybe that's the trick. And then you go up to the first,
But even then, the second floor had less lanterns. So if you can cut out the second floor altogether, and then know it's on the first floor. But yeah,
I probably would have gone up and worked my way down. I think
start at the top and wait. Yeah, that's probably a smart way to do it. I would have been like, "There's stairs there. I'm gonna hope that they're on the ground floor and just stuck down there. Like keep the stairs. It's fine." We get another. Sorry, we get another. Dragon. And Steve saying, "I would much prefer to hear Dragon and repeat than Pam."
Pam.
Can I just say that the best part about the second floor line was like there's a second floor, then he walks up the steps and goes, "There's a second floor, Pam." I'm like, imagine walking up steps and going, "Oh no, there's another floor." Like what were you just doing? You were walking up steps.
I didn't believe it until this instance, but now it is confirmed. Like I saw it up there. Not enough. Walk up the stairs. Now there's a second floor confirmed. That's funny.
Imagine it was a staircase to nothing. Like just walks up the steps and then just falls back down. Like, good to know there's no second floor. Yeah, there's no second floor.
With finding the Yana and Core did incredibly well. I don't know if it's because Core is maybe the closest out of any of the competitors to most recently finding Waldo or Wally for us Australian. Like he spotted it, he found it. They did well. Yana and Core reached the pit stop first, followed closely by Angie and Ali, where Bo is actually atop some weird tree walk thing, which I like. Darren is absolutely growing on me, by the way, Tom, when he said, "Oh, you're here because Bo couldn't be bothered climbing up the mountain." and then he sees him on top of he goes, "Oh, there he is. Sorry." He apologized to him. That was pretty great.
No, Darren is like entertainment gold. I watched him on Celebrity Apprentice, and like I was so excited to see him on this season, and he's delivering every episode.
This is a good point because Bo was alone, and you're right because Bo is very quickly becoming one of my favorite hosts just simply because of his interactions on the mat while he's chatting about if they're West Tigers fans and things like that. It's so great. Like
I used to be famous.
It's
Or
10 years ago,
something.
12 years ago, 15 years ago. Ellen said, "I love that Bo was by himself at the pit stop. The other greeters were probably like, this guy never shuts up. Can we skip an episode, please?" They couldn't get anyone to actually meet him there.
No, they had someone. The guy was downstairs because there wasn't enough room upstairs for him.
Well, he couldn't bring the bike up either. Like for some reason, there was some like motorbike that he was meeting them with. Jonathan pointing out episode 5 greeter, the mafia mama.
Yes.
That she took over the temple from a mafia boss, and now she's the she runs it. That was awesome. I love this show.
It was never confirmed if that was a joke or not. I was like, ha ha ha. Oh.
Yeah, she's laughed.
Oh, okay.
And then just left it hanging in the air.
Yeah.
Bo needed protection. So yeah, Jan and Cor get first. Ange and Ali end up coming second. George and Pam, Harry and Teddy is basically a foot race to the end. And when you're talking about George, and then you talk about Harry and Teddy, and you mention a foot race, what do you think the outcome is going to be, generally speaking? We do get to say goodbye to George and Pam. They arrive to them at last, and Bo tells them that they have been eliminated from the race. George, the king of the jungle, King George of Bankstown, has an unimpeachable reputation and record when it comes to reality TV. What does the Amazing Race do for that and George as a persona, Tom? What do you think of his legacy coming off of the Amazing Race?
Yeah, I think it doesn't like ruin his legacy in terms of performance because like I think Amazing Race was never geared towards George. It's a lot more physical and like all challenge based and strategy based and but he delivered. He was very entertaining. My favorite line was probably in the first episode when Yana Pittman crosses him and he's like in the confessional he's like something along the lines of like you'll regret the day you crossed King George of Bankstown and Pam and his sister Pam and like
and Pam.
Yeah, and his sister Pam like dead set. He's just like unreal, and it's just
she's
like,
here too.
Yeah, but it's like he forgets, and then like it springs into his head. I gotta mention my sister, otherwise I look like a complete dick instead of just like half a dick.
I know you're a fan of King George.
Oh, I need a travel show of King George and his sister Pam. I need it just like An Idiot Abroad did with Ricky Gervais. I need a travel show with those two just trying to make their way across the world. They were fabulous together. And I'm so sad to see them go.
I mean, if he was doing An Idiot Abroad, he'd need a head like a perfectly round orange.
Exactly.
There's a reference for some people out there.
I think that would suit him perfectly.
Stephen disagrees with you. He says, I don't watch Survivor, but I really hope he never graces our screens again.
Well, then don't watch Survivor. Then you won't like his episodes of Survivor.
This is off the back of your thing, Tom. George mentioning Pam gives me Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy vibes. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Is that it? I know. Do you, Tom? You're a musical guy, right?
I haven't watched Hamilton. Whenever I hear so much hype.
Yeah.
What's this from the music Hamilton? Yeah. Like
it does say it on the screen.
Yeah. Whenever I see so much hype for something, I usually retreat away from that thing, like it's a plague. But I'll probably watch it in 20 billion years when it's not cool anymore. So, and I'll enjoy it maybe.
Exactly.
I love Hamilton. I could do a Hamilton podcast also.
I watched it every day for a couple of months.
Yeah, it's amazing. if this was a non-elimination leg, there it is. They should ban George from mentioning Pam and anything related to Survivor as a speed bump. There's a penalty involved. Ellen said, Bo is probably my favorite The Amazing Race host. I love how involved he gets with it all. He probably loves the free holiday. I mean, he even ate the dick, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was a little shot of him
He
eating
gave
the
it a
penis,
go.
and he said, I don't get paid enough for this. So yeah, he throws himself in there.
He probably did worse with the West Tigers. Let's be real.
So he like the
Mad
Mad
Mondays?
Monday,
Hazing.
the season party.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. There's probably photos of it out there somewhere. Jonathan Gray with the official rankings though, as how he feels about George and Pam. Pam is better than Heroes vs. Villain George, who's better than The Amazing Race George, who's better than Brains vs. Brawn George. There you go. That's official. It's our official statistician. So that does bring an end to the episode with George and Pam saying goodbye. I still love George. What he's done on Survivor can't be touched, but I agree with you, Tom. It's just not the show for him. He can't flex his muscles that he has in a show like The Amazing Race. He's not that good at the skill-based stuff. What he is good at isn't part of this game. Like, you can't make the alliances and flip alliances and strategies and blah blah blah. It's just not part of it. You have to be smart in the way you approach tasks, but the primary thing that means success in this game is being able to complete the challenges in front of you, right?
Yeah, and also like there's no way anyone would want to align with George because like he doesn't like them as a team don't really offer you anything. The only benefit I could see to like helping George and Pam is dragging them as far along in the race as possible, so they're a guaranteed team you can beat in a leg later on.
Yeah.
That's like the only way you could use them, really.
We're going to look at our tier list, see how we sort of did last week, if we were right or wrong, and how we think the next couple episodes are going to play out. So let's have a look here. If I can do this, and then this thing. Here we go. So Jonathan points out here, very importantly as well, Emma and Haley, sorry, and then Harry and Teddy, bottom three, both legs. But this week we did lose Ben and Jackie here, and then George and Pam. So we actually got 2 for 2. I actually put it to you guys last week, and I said, do you only want 2 in the early exit because we have 2 episodes? You're not giving yourself any buffer. And my team, you nailed it. Ben and Jackie and George and Pam going out, the TNT crew, 100% for the week there. But what do we do this week? What's happening here, you reckon?
Can I just say...
Does Darren and Tristan still stay at the top after seemingly falling from grace a little bit? Like, how does that sort of sit with you, Tom?
I just want to say, first of all, remember last week when I was fighting for Beck and Kate to be amazing racers? And look, second and third, I just want everyone to acknowledge that, and they should be sliding further up. That's all I'm saying.
I co-signed last week, and I'll co-sign this week again.
Yeah, because I think they've got the best record in the past 4 legs. Like they had 2 bad legs, and then they've had the best average, but within the last 4 legs of the race, I think.
So yeah, well, let's see if I can. I'll change thingies because I made a thing. Hang on. We'll do window. Here we go. Excuse me. So this is. Wait. Can I zoom here? View. Zoom. 150%. There you go. So you can see Yana and Core seem to be like this game seems to be a bit of momentum, right? Darren and Tristan obviously dominant at the start, but have kind of come back to the pack a little bit here, 5th and 4th. Beck and Kate, you're right, Chris. They're actually heading in the right direction. Tom. They're heading in the right direction, seemingly going from 10-8 5, and then 3-2-3 is pretty good. Harry and Teddy, after a strong start, they've had a poor couple run of episodes. Emma and Haley not looking great the last couple of episodes, and it's tough because we're getting down. Like there's only 6 teams left, right? So someone's got to be at the bottom of the 6. And if you were 6 before, you were looking good. If you're 6 this week, you're saying goodbye, right? And that's how the Amazing Race goes. So yeah, like it seems like some people are hitting their stride at the right time. Some people may have peaked too early. Does Darren and Tristan fall into that? Let's go through them. Darren and Tristan, what do you think? Have they peaked too early? Are they on the way down? Is it a temporary speed bump?
I'd say it's temporary.
Yeah, I'd maybe move them towards the bottom of Amazing Races, like because at this point there are no more early exits. Like we're past that, so it's only middle of the pack.
Well,
Amazing
we
Races.
still got to put. I think we still got to, like for this week. Like it doesn't have to be early exit as in for the season, but this week, who is our bottom of the pack? Who's our early exits for this? This week kind of thing. So you reckon here? All right, if we keep them there, but towards the back of that Amazing Races set. Emma and Haley, after a couple of bad weeks, where are we saying that they are considering there's only 6 teams left? Are they?
I think they're getting eliminated this week.
There you go, V.
Yeah, I hope not, but it's such a small. I don't know who else I'd put in. Maybe Harry and Teddy in exit, but see, no one really seems to. We've eliminated those that we thought. It was easy. Like, it was easy to eliminate them. But, I don't know. Maybe Emma and Haley and Harry and Teddy. I don't know.
I've got some information, not information about Harry and Teddy, but there's something I noticed in the first episode, and I don't know if it will be... Let's just say in the first episode, they showed a clip of Harry and Teddy getting emotional at a pit stop. And it was like a waterfall in the background. So like they've kind of been like ruined for me for the first half because like I see every single pit stop and I know they're at least making they're at least making it to the next episode, so that they really butchered it by showing that. So I
could that
reckon
be these 2 episodes?
See, I don't know, but I feel like we're due for another non-elimination maybe in this week. So I reckon
we'll get another one.
Yeah.
Because how many episodes are we gonna have?
Oh, they'll have at least one more, maybe 2 more, I reckon.
Because we've already had 6 episodes. Ellen asked earlier, are we halfway through the season now? Is it 12 episodes? I haven't actually checked how many episodes it is, but if it is 12 episodes, we got maybe one. How many teams do they take to the final episode? 3 or 4?
3.
They wouldn't run the final leg with 2 teams or something like that, would it?
Yeah. There's 3 at the end. There's
3
at the
so
end.
I think
11 teams in total.
There you go. 3 India, 3 Malaysia, so 3 Cambodia, and John. 3. That's guy. So if that means, if I'm doing maths in my head right, if there's 3 that go to the final leg, then there will be 1 more non-elimination.
Yeah, I could see it either being the second episode of this week or the first episode next week. I think I still would put. I just have a sneaking suspicion that Harry and Teddy will somehow make it through a little bit longer. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where will this waterfall be? Like, what location are they going to next? Because I'm pretty sure it was at a waterfall that they were breaking down emotional. Yeah. It could potentially be this next one, but also that doesn't mean they're out, because I think they were talking about their cause, because they're doing Beyond Blue, and I've said they lost some friends to that kind of bad stuff. So I think it was just like an emotional moment where they got super teary about it. So it doesn't mean they necessarily got voted out, but I at least know they're going to be around until
they're going to be
yeah.
All right. So are we saying middle of the pack, or are they in danger at all because of this editing spoiler?
I feel like they could possibly make a mistake. It's like, I just want it to be even, but it could be 2, 3, 1. But
if
I had to put 2 in early exit.
So would you gamble, Tom, on keeping 1 early exit and gambling that there's a that's what our prediction is. There will be a non-elimination this week, and one of the ones that go out will be Emma and Haley. Oh, that's it. That's confident.
I still think there's a chance Yana and Cornelius will slip up soon. They have I think they have the biggest margin of performance. Like yes, like Beck and Kate, for example, had a terrible first week, but I think that both like them, Darren and Tristan, Ali and Angie, they're all very consistent performers for the most part. Yana and Cornelius can go either way. I think they're
on the way up. They're on the ascension.
I think that they're having like a story arc of obviously Cornelius, Core. Sorry, it's a weird name, Cornelius. It's the talk anyway. They're like on this upward trend, and Yana's boy's becoming a man. But I also feel like it could very easily just come undone, because maybe their story arc's almost finished. Like she's already seeing him become a man, and then like in the next couple of episodes, everything falls apart. But then they have like the big emotional moment at the end where it's like, I'm just so proud of Core. I've seen a different side to him. You think as a mom I'd know my son like perfectly, but the whole spiel that she goes on every flipping time she's proud of her son. Like, oh, honestly. But yeah, so I could see. I could see
if we had a bingo card or a drinking game. So it's Yana and Core is like that. She's his mom and all that. There's George was saying Pam. We'd all be dead, by the way. As far as the drinking game goes, and one for me as well is, I don't know if you're aware of this or heard, but Angie used to be a competitive swimmer as well.
Oh, yeah, I heard that once or twice.
So there's another one. Jonathan was backing you up on the Harry and Teddy. He says that it's either going to be their first win, so it doesn't have to be them going out. It could be a win that they're stoked about, or it could be saved by a non-elimination and they're like relieved. That's why it's very emotional, or they could be gone. So there's a couple of options there for sure.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think
Ellen's
that's right.
saying I think Yana and Cole will be next to go. So let's sort this out then.
Let's
go. Harry and Teddy, we're going middle of the pack for now.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay, let's do Beck and Kate. Again, a team that has sort of seemingly hit their stride at the right time. They're kind of peaking at the right moment. It seems like they're definitely on the up. Are we happy with them? It's amazing. I know Tom is. V, are you happy with Beck and Kate?
Yeah,
as
I
amazing
am.
Races?
They've been very impressive. Yeah.
I love the tone of voice. I know Tom is. I'm sick of this. It's like George saying Pam. Like you're over it. Just
look, you're not alone in this because Steve said he's never been a fan of Beck Judd, but is really surprised he doesn't hate her on this. Must be the super fan factor.
I have no clue who she is. I have no clue who Beck Judd even is. Like I don't know who these people are before this, but I just them are girls. I've got to back them.
So we're leaving them, obviously. Darren and Tristan, you're putting Darren and Tristan behind Beck and Kate now. You reckon, Tom?
That's tough. I think just if we're doing it based off trends, I'm just looking at Darren and Tristan. I think they're going to have a bit of a slow run for a little bit, and then they might pick up steam again. I think they'll definitely stay in the race for a bit longer. I'm also tempted, like Ali and Angie. Like I really underestimated them as a team. They had a weak second week, but I think maybe like for me, Ali and Angie stay middle of the pack, and then we drop Yana and Core to front, like to the top of early exit. So I think Emma and Haley are the most in danger, and then Yana and Core are behind them. But I like what who was it? Was it Emma? Ellen? Wait, who said? Yeah, Ellen said. Yeah, I think Yana and Core will be going next. To be honest, that's music to my ears. There's going to be a nightclub next episode. You wait.
The dreaded nightclub, the undoer of teams with someone under 18. Okay, so Beck and Kate, Darren, Tristan, Ali and Angie, you're saying you think they could do something good. Does that mean they're still middle of the pack? Are they moving up? What are we thinking here, V?
I'm thinking they're middle of the pack. I think they've impressed me like Beck and Kate have. So I think moving Yana and Core down that sort of configuration would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? After the last couple of weeks they've had. I know that there's a potential there. There's a potential there.
Someone's
like Tom said,
come last.
It could come undone, but you're talking about coulds, right? They've shown in the last couple episodes they're kind of kicking ass at the moment.
But they all are. They all are.
I guess it's the top
so
6,
it's hard.
right? Well, no, as I said, Harry and Teddy had a couple bad episodes. Darren and Tristan have gone a downswing, or maybe it's not that Darren and Tristan, Harry and Teddy are necessarily performing worse, but the other teams are now finding their feet and getting a little bit more comfortable and getting in the race and performing better, right? Like maybe they're being that little bit more battle tested and sharpened by the race itself. So Darren and Tristan maybe aren't doing any worse than they were. It's just that they've come back to the pack a little, or the pack has caught up with them a bit maybe. What do you think of that approach?
Well, one thing to note about Darren and Tristan, they're very similar to Peter and Frankie in the sense that, like Darren, I don't think Darren gives like cares at all. Like even in this last episode, you see him like wasting time, like lighting incense at like the temple and being like, help me find the English word and all that. Like he's just like doing like random crap like that, like just wasting time. But like, yeah, he doesn't care. Like it's his equivalent of random dancing, like Peter and Frankie, you know? Yeah. So I think he's just chill.
Okay. Well, this configuration, I back Yana and Core a little bit more than this, but I'm going with you guys. I'm just your friendly host. You guys are my all stars that I'm going to. And this one does tickle my, sense of symmetry and stuff a little bit more as well. So I'm happy with that too. This is what we're going with. Beck and Kate, Darren Tristan at the top of the pack.
It's gone to that point of the show where winners are going to go home.
Yeah.
It's always hard.
I also think not this next episode, but the one after it, there will be like a U-turn or because I think that's like you can't do a U-turn when there's final four like they did that with Tom and Tyler like Ellen's mentioning, and I just thought that was I was so annoyed by that. Just having a U-turn at the final four is just like it's too late. So I think that they didn't mention it in the preview for this next episode, and I feel like Australian television couldn't help but mention a U-turn on the next time. So I think there'll be a U-turn in the following episode. So the second one of this week.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Steven says the preview made it look like Em and Haley are going to go home, but probably not the case because they showed it. So yeah, we're going to see. Jonathan does say that there is a U-turn on the cheat sheet coming up at some point. Is there a U-turn coming up? And Jonathan, again, the source of all knowledge, said that they had it on the cheat sheet preseason. So there probably is going to be one coming up, which is going to be interesting when there's only 6 people to pick from, or 5 other teams to pick from. Maybe 4 if it's on the other episode if there's no non-limit. So yeah, interesting times ahead. But this is our layout. That's what we're going to stick with. The nullified take. Are we the experts once again? Because we did it this week. We're going to have to see Yana and Core, Emma and Haley go home, unfortunately, for that to continue this week. But next week, I think Michelle's going to join us. V, you're going to be back again?
Sure. What else am I going to do?
You're going to join us on the mat?
As long as Beck and Kate are still in, yeah, sure.
So we're going to say a big shout out to chat as well. Well, yeah, maybe we'll see. So we need Beck and Kate to go far in the race just so Tom can keep podcasting. Apparently, that's what it comes down to.
Don't you want my dry humor to keep going? You know.
Of course, that's why I wanted to go forever now because I need Tom on the show. But shout out to everyone in the crowd again in the chat. We love it. You make it so much better. Jonathan, our resident statistician and fact finder, I love you, man. Ellen, Stephen Smith, Labai, who joined us. Everyone, if I've missed any names, I do apologize. But thank you for making it a so much better experience. We're gonna keep on racing this week. More episodes coming up, and we'll do the same bat time, same bat channel next Sunday. Thanks, folks. See ya.
All right.
Woo. Bye.
Bye.